January 8th. Irgendwann am Nachmittag. Bam, Leute. Herzlich willkommen zurück zu Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Wahrscheinlich der letzten Folge von dieser Episode Recipe for Turnabout. Wir sind im District Court, in der Lobby, in der einzig wahren, Nummer 1. Wahrscheinlich gibt es gar keine anderen. Und wir defenden unsere Klientin, Maggie Bird. Und letztes Mal, ja, da ging es dem Chef an den Kragen, ne? Also dem Koch vom Tribien Restaurant. Und wir haben die Connection zum Tiger feststellen können. Und der wird jetzt hierher gezerrt von Godot höchstpersönlich. Wollen wir mal gucken, wie das hier abläuft. Ob jetzt hier gleich geschrien wird oder ob es Tote gibt. Oder beides. So, we're finally going to see the tiger on the stand. We've almost got this case won, Nick. I wish I could agree. Huh? When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now, he said he was just doing what the tiger told him to do. But Godot picked up on it, remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know if what he testified is the truth. You mean you think Mr. Armstrong was lying? I don't know. But if that's the line the prosecution takes, we could be in trouble. I get the feeling that we don't have the case-making evidence we're going to need. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe. What are you so jumpy about, Detective? Your hair's standing on end. Hey, that's the pot calling the kettle... What? That's the pot calling the kettle black, little Miss Topknot. Okay. It's not a top knot. Never mind about the hair, just calm down, alright? I can't stand still when I don't have a job to do. I kinda got wound up. Ah! No kidding. You gotta have something you need me to do, pal. Anything. Well, Hey, I'm gonna take a jog back down to the precinct. I could get some prints analyzed for you if you've got an hour. An hour? The trial will have reconvened by then. But Nick, we still don't have a really decisive piece of evidence, right? True. Without some kind of trump card to pull out of the bag, we're really stuck. You said you could get some fingerprints analysis done in an hour? You bet! In that case, would you mind checking the prints on this for me? Wahrscheinlich die Bottle, aber wird es nicht sowieso gerade schon untersucht? Ich hoffe doch. Oder müssen wir das irgendwie... Ich meine, die haben doch bestimmt die Prints hier schon, ne? Abgespeichert. Die müssen die ja nur noch analysieren. Naja, egal. If you're going back to the station anyway, could you find out whose prints are on this? Oh, hey! That's the small bottle I gave back to you this morning, right? Yeah, I think it's time we solved the last mystery of who the prints on it belong to. Sure thing, pal. Actually, that's been gnawing at me too. Small bottle, give it to Detective Gumshoe. Okay, I'll get this off to the lab right away. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back. Yeah, it's fine. This is pretty much the final showdown, I guess. Alles klar, es ist die letzte Episode. Da haben wir es. It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys. Yes. Kurz vor 2. Zurück. Im Saal. Court will now reconvene. Mr. Godot, did you find this furious tigre? I even tamed him for you. It was a 3-cup job. No problem. You tamed him? The guy's name may be Fury Tigre, but come on. He's pretty lively. Be careful, he still bites. Very well. Please show Mr. Tiger to the stand. Aye. Witness, please state... Ah! Don't tie it under the table, Maya, unless there is room for me down there, too. Would you mind?
What you say to me?
Nothing. I didn't say nothing. Honest. Who could have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent in the judge?
I got business to take care of, you hear me? So who the hell called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky?
No, of course not. It was the judge. Bye. Your Honor. Oh dear, I seem to have dropped my pen. Where on earth is it? Don't mind me, just carry out the proceedings as normal. That's it, we're doomed.
Maybe you didn't hear me. I said, who the hell was it that called me in here?
There's no need to shout, we can all hear you.
What you say?
There's no point struggling. You're caught in a snare, the relentless snare of the law. And I'm the one that hauled you in.
Gah.
Too cool. Don't let him get the better of you, Nick. Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct?
Incident? I don't know nothing about no stinking incident, masked boy.
You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of Maggie Bird?
Maggie who? I've got more important things to do than watch courtroom dramas.
Oh, of course. Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony then. Please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder.
Phoenix, right? You's the one who set this up, didn't you? He's gonna regret the day you offered the Tigers fur. You hear what I'm saying?
Maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today. Get a grip, Nick. The Tiger's alibi. Okay.
I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all of my time in my office. I got wares lined up to borrow cash from Tenderland every single day. You just want to check my alibi? Just ask me a letter.
At last I found my pen. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination. What is it? Please, witness, if you could refrain from shouting out like that.
I know the kind of games that guy in the blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lawyer, he just punches away at stupid details till he wins.
Lowlife, me?
Listen up, Smarty. Every time you ask me something that doesn't relate to this case, I'm gonna bill you $50,000 and you're gonna borrow the cash from me.
That's one loan contract I refuse to sign.
And don't think it ain't gonna hurt when you tangle with the tiger.
Ja, steht drauf, ne? I love a good spectator sport. Just wait a minute, that's really not... This witness is... How can I put it? A hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side and he'll bite everyone's head off. Yours too. Very well, I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here.
You better be listening. I said I got business to take care of, big business. If I don't split now, I ain't gonna catch my bus.
The court will impose a penalty for any irrelevant pressing of witness testimony. Keep that in mind as you begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor.
You can do it, Nick.
Come out from under there already. Would you, Maya? Okay, wir haben... Krieg eine Strafe, wenn wir unnötig pressen. Gilt das auch für das normale Pressen hier, oder? Ja, natürlich. Nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all my time in my office. So, das ist falsch. Gut, alles ist falsch. Ja gut, das muss nicht falsch sein. Just ask Violetta. Ja, würde ich gerne. Aber vielleicht erstmal hier pressen. Also ich muss ja irgendwas pressen, ne? Oder kann ich schon was präsenten? Haben wir schon Beweis, dass er im Restaurant war? Wir haben halt das, ne? Aber das heißt ja nur, dass er im Restaurant war irgendwann mal. Ich presse einfach mal. Irgendwas muss ich machen. Are you sure about that? We were talking about 1 month ago, you know?
You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is.
Sharp? Is he talking about Viola Cadaverini?
She writes everything in my scheduler. December, mail in the office. That's what it says, so that's where I was.
That seems like a rather sketchy schedule.
There
he goes again. What the tiger did all December isn't the issue. Ach cool. Okay, what's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder. So now what? Okay, ich krieg nur Penalty, wenn ich weiterpresse. What he was doing on the day of the murder. So now what? Ja, press harder. Das müssen wir wissen. Mr. Tigre,
what do you want?
If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail. Was objection?
It's a dead end, right? And you know it. Remember the rules.
No, it's essential that we establish the witness's alibi accurately.
I agree.
Okay, there you go, Phoenix. The victim was killed on December 3rd. Were you in the office that day too?
Maybe you ain't listening, of course I was. I never set foot outside. I had meetings all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. I'd never seen that young kid before. I do believe the witness's last statement was important. Mr. Godot, if you could please. Mr. Tigre, the court asks you to add that last statement to your testimony.
Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, your honor, and ask him yourself. Okay, that day I was in the office. I never saw that kid before. Okay, das klingt nach einem wichtigen Satz. I never saw that kid before. Then haben wir hier, genau, MC Bomber. Das war in deinem Büro und das gehörte Glenn Elk. Also das prooft das doch schon mal, oder? I would say so. Ich probier's. Nee. This evidence clearly reveals the contradiction in that statement, Your Honor.
How exactly are the evidence and the statement just now related?
They aren't, are they?
Not at all. Mr. Wright, please think the facts over before making accusations.
Aber ja, ist doch eigentlich... I never saw that kid before. Okay, ich presse erstmal nochmal. You didn't know Mr. Glenn Elk, really?
I don't mess with the guppies when there are bigger fish to fry. What do you say, boss?
Who, me?
How's about I hit you with a fat $1,000 cash?
Well, I was thinking about purchasing a nice car, and he's seriously considering this. Wow, the Tiger's a really good salesman, huh? Yeah, and if I want to sell this case, I need to copy him. How about you hit him with a fat piece of evidence, boss? I wish it was that easy. Komm, ja, dann pressen wir alles, oder? Wenn wir das dürfen. So I take it you get a lot of customers at your black market loan office. Würde ich vielleicht nicht so laut sagen, aber...
It's tough for the little guys these days. Small businesses are feeling the pinch. Bosses of companies like that want to get in good with me. I'm their best friend.
I see. That's very admirable of you, witness.
Yeah, well, Turner Lander's motto is win through compromise, you know?
Win through compromise.
What is that supposed to mean? Compromise the customer to win. That's what it means. You got it?
With a best friend like you, who needs enemies?
Here, let me spell it out for you all. You don't pay me back within 3 days? Spiky, I take what's due, and you stupid hair. You follow what I'm saying?
But I'm not one of your customers. Should I ask more about Tenderlander or not? No, leave it. Tenderlander ist scheißegal, glaube ich. Too dangerous to press things without knowing where they might end up. Better just focus on gathering information at the moment. Now then, Mr. Tigre, would you mind repeating your testimony from the beginning, please? My time ain't free, you hear? You better remember that. If I miss that bus, someone's gonna pay. Aha. I don't know nothing about no murder. Passen wir doch mal das. Ah, wir können ja vielleicht auch noch beweisen, dass er halt, ne? Sich als mich ausgegeben hat, ne? I don't buy that you haven't even heard of the incident that occurred at Trebien. Vielleicht müssen wir das erst machen.
He's got a big mouth, right? He's trying to say I was in on some mob hit. Is that what you're trying to say? Where's your proof then?
Evidence, yes. Well,
for an attorney to make an accusation in court, he must have evidence. That's from long shot to lawyer, the beginner's guide, yeah? I see you're the studious type, Mr. Tigre. Very good. Huh. Why don't you ask him to represent you sometime, try it?
What should I do? Ich gucke mir erstmal die anderen Sachen an. Ja, dein Bus. Ganz schrecklich. Nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December. Das haben wir noch nicht gemacht. Das haben wir gemacht und das haben wir gemacht. Das haben wir noch nicht gemacht. Also 2 Sachen müssen wir noch machen. Und zwar das hier erstmal, ne? Are you sure about that? We're talking about 1 month ago, you know? Oh, das habe ich schon. Oder nicht? Nee.
You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is.
Moment, hä? Das habe ich doch schon. Hä, bin ich dumm? This time I was in the office too. Achso, nee. Okay, doch, wir haben alles. Okay, dann müssen wir jetzt nur noch das mit Violetta, ne? Just ask Violetta. Alright. By Violetta, you're talking about the Cadaverini families.
Yeah. You don't want to cross them or you're gonna wind up in sleeping with the fishes. Once the Godfather finds out you've been dragging Violetta through the mud, he'll do you in.
Sorry, I couldn't quite put it all together towards the end there. He said that just like Viola, didn't he? I get the feeling this might not be the right time to probe him about her. Ja, denke ich auch nicht, oder? Wobei sie halt auch im Restaurant war. Ist es wichtig, dass wir sie jetzt erstmal... Nee, eigentlich müssen wir ihn erstmal. Eigentlich müssen wir ihn jetzt erstmal beweisen, dass er da war. Okay, ich würde sagen, wir pressen jetzt nochmal... Ja, ist ja gut. Das hier. Und dann pressen wir nochmal harder. Ja, komm. So, I press harder. Mr. Tigre,
What you want?
If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail. Schon wieder, das haben wir auch schon gehört. Is it an edge, right? Ja. Okay, das war wirklich nicht erlaubt. Wir kriegen echt viel Schaden, ne? Okay, dann müssen wir halt hier irgendwas machen. I never saw that kid before. Handwriting. Duel ist in Victims Handwriting. Nichts. Okay, nicht seins. Achso, doch hier vielleicht? Says I was trounced and my client was found guilty. Aber nee, wir reden ja jetzt vom... Na gut, wir reden über zwei Sachen. Wir reden vom Tag des Mordes. Das ist nicht dieser Tag, weil das ist ja der Gerichtstag. Aber wir reden auch über that kid. Ja, aber nee, das hat ja eigentlich... Ja, das beweist ja eigentlich auch nichts. Floorplans. Bears made his fingerprints. Nee. Ah, ja, stimmt. Meet with the Tiger. Glens Kalender. Okay, ja, das ist es. Mr. Tigre, you claim you didn't know Mr. Glen Elk, but it appears that Mr. Elk knew you.
What?
Mr. Elk left this little note on his calendar. Meet with the Tiger, and the date, December 3rd.
December 3rd? That's the day of the murder.
So, Mr. Tigre, I submit that you did indeed know one Mr. Glen Elk, because on the very day of the incident, you met with him.
Grrr! Not bad, he's actually not bad.
Sorry?
I was just messing with views to see how good you were.
Did you hear that, Nick? He said you're not bad. That's one compliment I can do without. Plus, he's lying for his teeth.
Witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies will not be tolerated. He's calling me a liar, is that what he's doing? So you're saying that your claim to have never seen that kid before is the truth? I said I'm dead serious. He's better believe that's the truth. Huh. And I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. That is, while you testify for the court again, Mr. Tigre. Oh yes, would you mind indulging the court, witness?
You never actually met the victim? It's got to be a lie right there. It's time I nailed this. Okay, Phoenix. Aber bitte draußen. Ganz weit draußen.
I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Elk. There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow some cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, tender lender. I waited around for him, but he ain't never showed. I ain't never even been to that Trebian joint you's here.
Okay, that war easy.
I see. That all seems perfectly logical. You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up. I've heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead. Very well. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
Didn't I tell you I got a big deal going down today? I ain't gonna make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. That bit's going straight to you, right?
Ja, laber du ruhig. Aber das war ziemlich offensichtlich. Bla bla bla. Tender lender. Never showed. Never been to that Trebian joint. Yeah, here? I don't think so. Mr. Tigre, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches?
Matches? What he's talking about?
We found them in your office at Tender Lender. They're from that restaurant.
What?
If you've really never been to Trebian before, what was the book of the restaurant's matches doing on your desk?
He's been snooping around in my stuff now too, wise guy. What are you, my ball and chain? Ain't no broad controlling me. Order, order. Well, witness, I think it's time you started telling us the truth, don't you? Sorry, I'm terribly sorry, forgive me. I ain't no pussycat, I don't go back on what I said. But okay, I was at the joint that day.
What?
But listen good, alright? I might have been there, but I still never met that kid. Well, well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony.
I'm this close to proving it was him. He did meet Glenelg that day, and he did put poison in his coffee. He must have. At très bien.
I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cop sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office.
Mm-hmm.
I see, you didn't actually meet with him in the end then. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold it, if I wait around here any longer, I ain't gonna make the normal express. No more stupid questions. No problem. Anytime Tribe presses on you, something irrelevant, I see he pays a penalty. Mr. Godot, that's my job. Your job is to slam that little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict. So do it. Yes, sir. Special Express ain't cheap, right? Just so you know, since you're paying.
Oh man, doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? Okay. I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. Someone ugly scene. The guy was late. Right over the table, stiff as concrete. So I split. Pick up siren on my way out, then went straight back to my office. Müssen wir vielleicht irgendwo wieder was mit der Zeit machen? Ja, aber wir haben überhaupt nichts mit der Zeit, ne? Was haben wir denn überhaupt hier noch für... Ich muss mal die Evidence nochmal angucken. Ja, hier vielleicht das MC Bomber Dingens. Weil das beweist, dass er im Restaurant drin war und sich die CD geschnappt hat. Oder das Gekritzel könnte auch sein. Ich glaube, ich muss einfach mal pressen, ne? Das darf ich ja, oder? Ich weiß nicht, aber ich denke mal. So, the meeting wasn't due to take place at Tenderlander at all then?
Kid was making a fuss about coming into the office. It's always that way when I want to talk about repayments. Even though I got the best punching bag you ever seen, if there are any issues.
Maybe it's because of the punching bag that people are scared to come. So that's why you decided to meet at Tribune.
Huh. You're going over an old ground again, Wright.
Sorry. Oh, was?
Just earned yourself a penalty. Now suck it down. You will suck down to a penalty, Mr. Wright, and you will like it.
Excuse me? Alright, I suck it down. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Nein. And saw one ugly scene. Ja. Stiff as concrete. I figured if the place was not was so I split. Vielleicht das. Oder? Ich könnte halt überall pressen. Bei den beiden könnte ich halt pressen, um genau zu erfahren, wie es da drin aussah. Und bei dem könnte ich pressen, ob er wirklich nicht hineingegangen ist. Und hier... Ja, weiß auch nicht. Ne, hier glaube ich eher am wenigsten, oder? Die Cops. Ich glaube nicht, dass die eine Rolle spielen. Moment, wir erinnern uns, müssen uns noch mal kurz zurückerinnern. Was war zuerst? Ich habe es doch letzte Folge extra schön dargestellt, die Szene. Der alte Mann kam ja später, ne? Genau, das Acting war später und der richtige Mord war early, ne? Right? Genau, also zuerst kam der richtige Mord. Glenn Elk stirbt. Maggie passed out. Der Tiger ist auch da. Ich presse jetzt hier einfach mal. You mean you saw Glenn Elk's dead body?
I guess I did, but I only saw it from behind. He was wearing some raggy bit of cloth he called a hat.
And what time was this?
I don't know.
Huh?
You know what winds me up more than anything else in the world? Watches, round watches. I ain't gonna pollute my paws with some dickin' handpecker. Out of interest, Mr. Tigre, what winds you up the second most? Huh? What do you think? Square watches.
Is this guy for real?
Look, all I needed to know was that something bad was going down in that place.
Wait. Moment. Das ist die Frage, warum würde er das überhaupt wissen? Dass er tot ist? Ich meine, er könnte ja einfach nur, ne? Mittagsschläfchen gemacht haben, ne? Es war ja nicht irgendwie, keine Ahnung, eine Schusswunde oder sonst irgendwie blutiges Blätter oder so. War ja gar nichts, ne? War einfach nur vergiftet und Kopf war auf dem Tisch. Muss ja nicht heißen, dass, ne? And someone ugly scene. Oder vielleicht lieber hier pressen, weil hier ugly scene. Ne, warum war die ugly? Ich presse hier nochmal. An ugly scene? What do you mean?
The witness has already told us, Wright, which makes that question irrelevant.
But
I had myself to 17 cups of coffee during a trial. That's the rule. You better limit the number of times you take a penalty, Wright. Or your guts will look like the inside of a chimney ashen. Don't make me burn you again, Mr. Wright.
guess I shouldn't have pressed him on that. I guess not. Ja, komm. Also. Ich bin mir gerade nicht sicher, weil ich bin mir gerade nicht sicher, was laid out over the table heißen soll. Ob das jetzt irgendwie, es ist so umgangssprachlich, ob das wirklich heißt, er ist tot oder ob das wirklich nur wortwörtlich heißt, er hat auf dem Tisch gelegen. The place wasn't hot already. Habe ich das schon gedrückt? Nee, oder? Wobei, das könnte es vielleicht eher sein, ja. Also meint er eben, das könnte man noch, das könnte man auch so interpretieren. Ja, okay, er ist auf dem Tisch gelegen, weil er halt schläft, ne? Und hier sagt er, aha, das ist aber nicht gut, dass er schläft, weil er schläft nicht, sondern er ist tot, ne? Das heißt, hier wird es gleich abgehen in der Bude. Woher will er das wissen, dass es gleich abgeht, wenn ein Typ schläft? Ich presse das. Ich muss pressen. So you didn't actually set foot inside the restaurant then? Und das auch noch wichtig.
Tiger's a busy cat. I don't hang around for no one. I ain't got time to be caught up in no murder investigation.
Ah, guck mal. Können wir das bitte anhängen? So, when exactly did you pick up the matches?
There are matches just inside the front door. Our detective friend wound up in trouble with the chef after taking 5 books home.
Poor Kamshu. It's almost enough to make a man cry. Aber was drücke ich? Soll ich das auch noch pressen? Ich weiß nicht, was ich präsenten soll. Ich meine, ich habe nichts, womit ich ihm ins Gesicht drücken kann. Ey, woher wusstest du denn, dass er gestorben ist? Das klingt eher so, als müsste ich ihm ein paar Aussagen rauslocken und dann nochmal das Richtige pressen, damit ich sagen kann, ey, du hast vorhin gerade gesagt, da wäre ein Mord gewesen, ne? Woher wusstest du das? Weil hier habe ich ja nichts, was ich benutzen könnte. Also, den Autopsiebericht? Nee. Ich mache noch das letzte Statement. You went straight back. Did a bout of guilt suddenly hit you for what you did?
What he's trying to say? You trying to tell me you ain't never been guilty of nothing? We all have our crosses to bear. We all have to swallow the dark secrets we hide. Like this.
Courtroom's not exactly the place to talk about dark secrets, is it?
Seems you've done it again, Mr. Wright. Another irrelevant line of questioning. Must impose a penalty accordingly.
How about a penalty for those 2 chokers and the garbage they keep coming up with?
Well, Nick, what do you think?
Ah ja, stimmt. Vielleicht nochmal mit Maya talken. He's running out of ways to avoid the truth. I need to press him fast before he has time to think things through. Press him. Und nicht present evidence. I've got to come right back at him with a contradiction.
Be careful what you press him on, though. You'll get penalized, okay?
Ich würde halt gern das nochmal. You know what? Wir safen. Wir safen eiskalt. Und dann drücken wir... Was drücken wir? Huch, hey, bleib stehen. Ich presse nochmal das, weil da haben wir vorhin keine Penalty bekommen. You mean exactly next dead body? I guess I did, but I only saw him from behind. He's wearing some raggy bit of cloth, yeah? What time was this? I don't know. Ja, ja, und du deine Uhren. Past the meeting, ja. Ich presse jetzt das nochmal. Und dann muss ich halt nochmal laden. An ugly scene, what do you mean? Okay, nee, das sieht nicht richtig aus. Darf ich bitte laden? Dankeschön. Ja, ich lade jetzt hier. Ich will jetzt hier nicht nochmal von vorne beginnen. Aber ich habe echt keine Ahnung. Was könnte ich denn noch? Das ist das andere, was wir pressen konnten und nicht bestraft werden, ne? I'm excited to pick up the matches. At the front door. Da muss ich vielleicht doch irgendwas präsenten. Also er ist nur zur Tür reingegangen. Ah, warte mal. Oh, erst jetzt kommt mir was in den Sinn. Konnte man das da sehen? Nee, konnte er gar nicht, ne? Kleine Elk hat ja auf dem rechten Platz gesessen, ne? Direkt hinter der Trennwand. Da kann er ihn von einem gar nicht sehen, oder? Presse ich jetzt hier oder hier? Ich presse mal hier. Und dann Floor Plans. Oder vielleicht Crime Photo? Nee, eher Floor Plans, oder? Oh. Oh, you're something of a loan collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. Tigre?
No one escapes the tiger's clutches.
Well, I'm something of a lie detecting pro. And no one escapes the Phoenix's clutches. I think it's time we got something straight.
What's this, Wright? A new line of irrelevant questioning.
These are the floor plans of the crime scene. You say you were standing... Achso, ja, ich dachte gerade, das Regal unten drunter wäre die Tür gewesen. Aber ja, die Tür ist sogar da oben, also no chance. You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tigre. From there, your field of vision would have covered an area something like this.
Indeed, the witness would have had a clear view of the victim's seat. Isn't that what it just said? I saw the back of the kid's head.
Unfortunately for you, that is not possible. If the court would think back, you remember that between each of the tables is a tall partition.
Why, that's true.
Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field of vision of any customer walking in ends here. You sweating now, boy.
You's been sweating now, boy.
So, from the entrance of Très Bien, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did that day because you met with him.
Wrong. Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table.
Ja, das war die Show. But the defense just proved that point to be moot. The victim witnessed by Mr. Kudo was not Clan Elk, but a fake.
What?
In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer poses as the victim he had just killed and acted out a charade.
That will do. This trial has gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim? You say the killer murdered Glen Elk and then impersonated his victim in a performance for Victor Kudo. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court.
War das der Tiger selbst? Hat er nachher den Dinges gespielt? Naja, vielleicht. Ich meine, sonst kommt, glaube ich, eh niemand in Frage, oder? Sean kann es nicht sein, weil er muss ja, ne, die Küche leiten. Und die Serving Girls, oder das, ja, die hat auch zu tun eigentlich. Also ja, wahrscheinlich er, ne? Obviously, the killer is Furia Tigre. No one else could have done it.
What? Well, witness? Now that's cute. You think you can pin this on the tiger? Maybe you don't understand. The tiger is king of the jungle. So I dare you to say it again. Come on, you got the guts? You can't throw at me, Mr. Tigre.
Aber mein Controller scheinbar, weil der nicht reagiert. Huch. So.
It's a defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright.
Bye.
Mr. Wright. Sounds to me like it must be you, old man. You've got guts. You've got guts, I'll give you that. Mr. Wright, do not leave me to handle this alone. Perhaps I can end this embarrassment. Mr. Godot. Let's just go back over Mr. Kuda's testimony one more time. The old man didn't see just the victim. Oh, no, no, no.
Serving girl brought him a cappuccino, but she put something in it. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there.
Is the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains, he saw the accused put the poison into the coffee. Yes, it was the waitress who poisoned the coffee.
Very impressive, Mr. Godot. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack.
Found your pen at last, Wright?
It was in my pocket. But anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glen Elk, and the waitress from behind.
Yes, your point, Mr. Wright.
I think the conclusion is obvious. If this Glen Elk was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible the waitress was also part of the show.
What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well?
The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her.
Who on earth was it? Who was this waitress that Mr. Kudo witnessed?
Das war dann wohl sie, ne?
Who is this woman?
Her name is Viola Cadavrini. She's an employee of Tenderlander.
He's making a big mistake. Do you know who Viola's grandfather is? You better be going home in an armored truck tonight, if you know what I mean.
Stop shaking, Nick. Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Miss Bird, has stated the following.
Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true that there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy, and she had a kind of crackling laugh.
There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table, who nobody but Miss Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when that eardrum was ruptured. And the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There's only one logical explanation that clears up all of these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice, once for real and once for show. And Mr. Fiore Tigre, the only person who could have committed a crime, is you.
Witness, what have you got to say? That's cute. Sorry? He's alright. I could do it with a guy like you around.
What do you mean?
Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to char a chat to get me to my meeting now, but I'm gonna give you one more thing to think about before I go.
Something to think about?
He's got it all wrapped up nice, huh, Wright? But you missed out one real important thing.
But that can't be.
I was in the joint that day, and I met that kid too. But I couldn't have poisoned him, you hear? What? Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tigre? Huh. What a troublemaker.
Troublemaker?
Looks like we're going to need another one for the road. One more steaming Copperford testimony. Indeed. Witness, you will explain yourself to the court. I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at the tribunal between yourself and the victim?
Ties to the victim.
Yeah, I loaned El cash, about $100,000. That day was due to have a little chat. The kid had hit his payback date, see? So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming. Yes, I won $500,000. He got lucky, you know, real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she'd done, everything would have been over. Now, I see that principal amount you loaned to Mr. Elk was $50,000. Yeah, well, he's got the Vic to take into account. Interest builds up fast, you know.
That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice his principal.
And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question. Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got that $500,000 just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case.
His motive? He has to have one, but what is it? Ja, hat selber Schulden. Yeah. A little chat. The kid had hit his payback date. Tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the gap when he starts screaming. Real lucky. If it would have been over. Ich press mal das hier. Was there anyone else in the restaurant at the time?
I don't remember.
If there was no one there, I read that ridiculous tiger shirt for a month. Mr. Armstrong, Maggie, and if I'm right, Viola Cadaverini were all there at the time.
So the victim had intended to repay you from his lottery winnings from the beginning. Seems that way to me. But wouldn't you normally expect to win the lottery? You wouldn't normally expect to win the lottery, would you? You don't dang believe that your next roll will end the worst losing streak you ever had. That's what defines a true gambler.
Makes it sound so cool.
Don't be tempted, Nick. You haven't got the willpower for it. All I know is the kid took a shot and he got lucky in the end.
Okay, das hier noch, bitte. The waitress, you mean?
The girl of the glasses in the defendant's chair, who else could I mean? If she hadn't got in the way, things would have been bada bing bada boom over and done with.
Maybe I should push a little on this. Ask about what Maggie did, ask how things would have been. Ask how things would have been. Weil die 100.000 wären nicht genug gewesen. What do you mean, things would have been over and done with?
Are you all there or what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my 100,000 bucks back, that's all. I'm a businessman. It was all come together before that waitress got in the way. As far as I can tell from the witness's testimony, other than recouping his loan, Mr. Tigre had no motive for killing the victim. Witness, you will amend your testimony to reflect what you just said. Yes.
Tiger's motive, huh? Ja, da haben wir's. I was after $100,000. I didn't have no other reason to kill the guy. Das pressen wir nochmal ganz kurz. Wir hängen mit unserem einen Leben, hängen wir immer noch dran. Are you saying you had no other motives that day?
Yes, so what? Then why didn't you take the lottery ticket when you left? Why do you think? Because of 4 eyes over there?
Because of Maggie?
How about you go ask 4 eyes about that $500,000 ticket? She wanted it so bad. She poisoned Alex coffee.
A likely theory. Your word hasn't held water lately, Mr. Tigre.
Let's not forget this witness was actually at the scene, right? The law don't exactly agree with some of the deals I sent down. I couldn't be there when the cops showed up, so I split.
I see.
Your Honor. The witness's last few statements are worth a good 2 cups of coffee.
Well, Mr. Wright, are you happy with the testimony or would you like it amended? Gibt es einen Grund, warum ich es nicht amenden soll? Have it amended, I guess? I'm not going to get anywhere with the testimony as it stands. Your Honor, the defense would like the testimony amended.
Very well. Witness, you will amend your testimony to reflect your recent statements, please.
Thanks to what she did, my business with that kid was over. Wait. Wo muss man ein anderes Ding hin? Warum ist es jetzt weg? Ich drück das nochmal. Hä? Peanut Crown Maggie. If I ask about what he saw, it's only going to damage our case. What do you mean things would have been over and done with? Ja, das haben wir doch schon, ne? Hä, aber... Ach so, ich kann das Statement tauschen. Okay. Okay, ja gut, dann lassen wir das. Wir wollen definitiv das Statement. Und jetzt können wir... I was after the 100,000 to kill the guy. Jetzt ist halt die Frage, wollen wir das Lottery-Ticket oder die Schulden? Ich glaube, es ist Zeit für einen weiteren Safe State. Hat niemand gesehen. Ich würde sagen... Ich mache das Lottery-Ticket. Weil das war sein... Ja... Es ist beides möglich. Ich drücke jetzt einfach mal das. Okay, das war es nicht. Your Honor, let me load, please. Ja, ich wollte eigentlich sagen, die Medical Papers. War das Gleiche. So you just intended to get back the $100,000 Mr. Alk owned you, correct?
I loaned the guy the cash, so that's my right.
Unfortunately for Mr. Elk, $100,000 wasn't enough to cover it, was it?
Huh?
About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? An accident involving a car and a scooter, in which a young woman was injured. Wie auch immer sie verletzt wurde und er nicht. Wo er doch auf dem zerbrechlichen Scooter drauf ist. Naja. She was taken to the hospital where she underwent surgery.
Where did you get all this info?
These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost $1 million. Payment for these expenses was due in December of last year and was paid in full.
$1 million? A preposterous sum. Someone should sue these HMOs. No one will pay a bill like that. The medical association got wind of it. The hospital would end up as dead as a morgue.
But Mr. Tiger had no choice but to pay, because his very life depended on it.
Order! You say his life depended on it, Mr. Wright?
Indeed, it did. Simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cadaverini.
Did you say Cadaverini?
Bruto Cadaverini, mob boss in charge of all underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cadaverini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? It makes sense. You were desperate to acquire the $1 million Cadaverini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glenn Elk's life to pay your debt.
Order! What do you say to that, witness? Yeah, it's a nice little fairy tale, right? But even if the witness did need $1 million, that doesn't tie him to Mr. Elk's murder. Mr. Elk only owed him $100,000 and had no hope of repaying it anyway. Yeah, that guy wasn't worth my spit.
I don't think so. In fact, the opposite is true.
The opposite?
Lending money with no hope of ever seeing repayment would normally be bad for business. But in this case, the very fact that Glenn Elk had no way to repay the money is crucial.
What?
Do you know where you're going with this, Nick? Outside the box, Maya. Outside the box? It's very straightforward. Mr. Tiger wasn't after the $100 at all. Ah, yeah.
It seems you have a logical conclusion for this theory, Mr. Wright. Would you care to share it with us?
What exactly was Mr. Tiger after?
The virus.
Glenn Elk was a programmer, a highly skilled programmer. That skill was the collateral Mr. Elk put up in order to borrow the money.
Care to explain how skill can be used as collateral to secure a loan, right?
He had the skill to create a computer virus, and so he did. A virus known as MC Bomber.
A computer virus? What does one of those do?
Computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the insides of a computer.
Computer? What does one of those do?
I guess the beard isn't the only part of his honor that is from the Stone Age. I'll explain to you later, Your Honor. Right now, this is the important point. A virus like MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market. Mr. Tigre, you couldn't have cared less about the $100, isn't that right? All you cared about was one thing, the virus.
Yeah.
On the day of the murder, Mr. Tigre's sole intention was to get his hands on the CD. Glenn Elk had no way of paying back the $100 million, exactly. And Mr. Tigre knew it. But then a miracle happened. Well, shit. The kind that Mr. Tiger would prefer to say never happened, but he can't, and neither can I.
The lottery win.
Exactly. At the 11th hour, Mr. Elk won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tigre with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. At least, no legitimate way. Oops. So, he resorted to illegitimate means. Schwieriges Wort.
That's crazy.
He murdered Glenn Elk and then made his next move, to frame Maggie Bird for the crime. Mr. Tigre posed as Glenn Elk. Und es ist dem alten Sack nicht aufgefallen, dass das nicht der gleiche ist? Okay. Ja gut, er hat den richtigen Glenn Elk ja nie gesehen, ne? Und wenn er auch nicht mal ein Foto danach angesehen hat, dann muss es wirklich nicht. Okay. While Viola Cadaverini played the role of Miss Bird. And then they reenacted the whole thing in order to establish a witness. Witness being the one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo.
Like I said, Wright, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that. For starters, there's no way the chef couldn't have been kept in the dark about it.
But Mr. Armstrong was in on it from the very beginning. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Godot? Mr. Armstrong owned the witness money too. $500,000 in fact. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tigre's plan.
Order! Silence, or I... He's put on a good show, Spikey. If you want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid, created the witness and framed someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail as bright as my shirt. I ain't dumb enough to do something sloppy like that.
I agree.
You do?
Despite your appearance, you are very careful. That's why you took one more precaution. One more trick to make sure Miss Bird had no way out.
What? Another one, Mr. Wright? Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Wright? What was this trick you say Mr. Tiger performed to frame the accused?
His trick. Der Paper Badge? Also, dass er sich halt als mich ausgegeben hat? Oder nee, das Poison. Okay, wir haben 3 Optionen. Das Poison, der Fake Badge oder der Article, das halt der Gerichtstermin, den er halt der er halt gefaked hat, quasi. Das könnte halt wieder alles sein. Also ich würde auf den Dings tippen. Auf das Poison erstmal. Aber das bedeutet, wenn mein Controller sich gerne... Hallo? Er will nicht reagieren. Ach so. Scheiße, ich kann nicht speichern. Verdammt. Nein, ich komme nicht aus dem Menü raus. Ah, okay. Ja, es gibt kein Zurück mehr. Wir müssen... ja... What was this trick you say Mr. Tiger performed to frame the accused? This poison? aber ich weiß nicht. Ich will irgendwie eher das drücken. Wobei, nee, das eher nicht, dann eher der Artikel, oder? Ich drücke jetzt das Poison. Das sieht nicht richtig aus. Ja, trink schneller!
And what's the relevance of that, Wright?
It's just a little intro.
An intro to what? That's enough! Scotty is no reason to further prolong the trial.
Wir sehen uns gleich wieder. Das Case, ja, ist guilty. Das war's. Tschüss. Da sind wir wieder. Ja, der Chef. Der ist auch da. Und wir müssen jetzt was proven. Und zwar, what's this trick Mr. Tiger performed to frame the accused? Und ich würde sagen, einfach mal das Magazine Clipping. Was auch falsch zu sein scheint. Wie verarschen? Was ich proven wollte, eigentlich, war natürlich nicht der Zeitungsartikel. Das ist ja Quatsch. Also, macht überhaupt keinen Sinn, ne? Also, obviously, was ich proven wollte, war, ich hätte später speichern sollen. Zum Beispiel hier. Der Trick war natürlich der Paper Badge. Jetzt hätte ich nicht speichern müssen, aber egal.
What on earth is that? What an insult to think anyone could be fooled by such a childish imitation.
Consider yourself insulted, Your Honor. Mr. Tigre, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in question. A month ago in this very court you posed as me.
What? That's
the truth.
But the witness looks nothing like you, Mr. Wright. Although, now that I think about it, it was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you, standing in here, this very court, a mere month ago. The Phoenix Wright who put up the most disreputable, shabby defense I have ever seen. Can you prove that, Gramps? Prove that the attorney who represented the accused here a month ago was this man? Are you prepared to take the stand and testify that it was him? Hey. Forget about it, yeah? I wouldn't do something like that, not me. You made a mistake, right? It was someone else, huh?
Have you no pride, sir?
This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Trat, here in court, we deal with people's lives. Mr. Godot is right.
Your Honor?
Speaking for myself, I am absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now. However, I preside over this court as the judge, with the vested power to hand down a verdict. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by a memory without evidence to support it.
No.
If the defense has no further evidence, the court will now excuse this witness. Circumstances surrounding Mr. Tiger are dubious for sure, but not conclusive.
But so far.
You say he impersonated Glenelg, you say he impersonated you, but none of that adds up to a murder charge. You don't have a shred of evidence that the witness poisoned the victim's coffee.
Ja. Und jetzt, Gumshoe, dein Auftritt. Einfach putz durch die Tür, ins Gesicht. Nein?
Sucks to be you, Wright. Don't mess with the tiger, or you're gonna get mauled. You got that?
All we managed to do here was chase him around a bit. But I was so close to getting him to admit his own guilt.
Huh.
Ja, alle lachen sie.
Looks like I won't be needing a refill.
If I just had one more piece of evidence, das gleich durch die Tür geflogen kommt. Jeden Augenblick. One more piece of evidence and maybe I could get Maggie off the hook. Kaboom.
This witness's cross-examination is over. We are free to go, Mr. Tigre.
Hold it. Hold it.
Da ist er! The man! Your Honor, sir! Wait! Detective.
Detective Gumshoe.
Sorry it took so long, pal. I staked everything on this. My badge, the works. So here it is. My heart's counting on this, too. What is it, detective? Isn't it obvious, pal? It's the final decisive piece of evidence. What? What?
Plötzlich sind wir draußen, immer noch mit der Music going.
Sorry it took so long, pal, but I finally got the results from the lab.
The results?
About the prints, pal, from this medicine bottle.
Oh, so, do you know who the prints belong to now?
Do you think I'm some kind of hack detective? Of course I know.
So, tell us. You're the Tigers, right? I knew it.
You bet.
Ah, ich dachte schon, nope.
Clear as crystal all over the bottle. The Fury Tigers paw prints, alright?
That's great. You've got him now, Nick. Do we? What's wrong with you? You've hardly said a word since Detective Gumshoe got here. He's laid everything on the line for this, Nick. I know. Look, I'm sorry. This is kind of hard to say, but it really doesn't make any difference whose prints are on the bottle now. Ja, das ist ja... Das ist eine Medizin. Das heißt, er hat die ihm weggenommen, okay. So what?
What? Why not?
What we need to produce at this stage in the trial is irrefutable evidence that the tiger put poison in Glenelg's coffee. He's already admitted that he met the victim. The fact that his prints are on this bottle, that really doesn't make any difference now. Oh,
I knew it. Great, no matter how hard I try, I'm never of any use.
Hey, don't be so hard on yourself.
This was our last chance to help Maggie. And I've been working on some useless piece of evidence the whole time. It's alright, I'm a real loser. It's not breaking news to me, pal.
Oh. Detective Gumshoe? Maggie! You've been working on something for me?
Sorry I let you down, Maggie. I know that you didn't do it. And I'm a detective. We're supposed to be able to prove stuff like that. I'm really sorry. I'll get you out of...
Detective Gumshoe, wait! He's gone. Isn't there anything we can do now, Nick? I wish there was. Gumshoe worked so hard to get that evidence. If only there was some way I could use it. The victim's ear medicine, covered in Fury Tigris fingerprints. Okay. I'm back.
Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor.
I granted you a recess, so you could prepare this decisive evidence you've discovered.
Yes.
Don't keep us all in suspense, Wright. Show us. Naturally, we can assume it's evidence that will actually stand up in court, can't we? Think, Phoenix.
Don't let Gumshoe's hard work go to waste.
How much more of my time are you gonna waste? I ain't been to no court before. But yous lawyers sure know how to blow things out of proportion. No doubt, given the nature of the evidence, it will speak for itself. Nevertheless, you will talk us through it, Mr. Wright.
Well, I know I can't prove anything new with this evidence. I'm really backed into a corner here, but maybe if he thinks he's got me, beat, he'll let his guard down a bit.
Don't keep us waiting any longer, Mr. Wright. Present this final decisive piece of evidence to the court.
Also wir haben seine Fingerprints. Ja, also wir müssen ja das machen, ne? Ich kann auch nicht mehr speichern. Shit. Puh. Ja gut, dann let's go. This is the defense's final piece of evidence.
Isn't that the victim's?
Your Honor. Naturally, the court is already aware of the contents of this bottle. However, interesting new information has come to light. You've clearly identified some fingerprints on it. Fingerprints belonging to you, Mr. Tigre.
What?
Sei einfach ruhig. Kann man nicht sagen. Du auch.
But Mr. Wright, what conclusion are you hoping to draw from this new information?
Everyone in here knows what this bottle contains. Except one man, one person in this courtroom should theoretically be in the dark.
My prints are on that fancy looking bottle, is that what you're saying? Well, what the hell's in it anyway?
Phony trial, a phony lawyer, and phony clues. And everything about this case has been phony. Seems like the perfect excuse for some phony evidence. Mr. Tigre, this is the decisive piece of evidence that will prove your guilt. Why? Because it contains
Mr. Armstrong's oils.
Ja, dann müssen wir wohl lügen, ne? Das Gift. This bottle contains potassium cyanide.
Potassium cyanide?
The poison used to murder Mr. Alec, Your Honor. The victim's killer used this very bottle. And on this bottle, Mr. Tigre, we found your fingerprints. Well, how do you explain that?
You'd make a good clown, you know that?
What?
He's ain't never gonna get this to stick. He's just making me laugh now. You think a cheap bluff like that's gonna fool a tiger?
A bluff?
I can see straight through you, Phoenix, right? That ain't the bottle with the cyanide in it.
No, this is the bottle we found traces of the poison in.
Don't mess with the tiger, or he's gonna get ripped to shreds. The cyanide bottle was brown and it was made of glass. That cheap piece of trash don't look nothing like it.
Tja, und damit danke ich für eure Aufmerksamkeit. Sitzung ist beendet. Got him. At last.
What? Why is everyone gone quiet? Said that bottle.
Is this the bottle you're referring to?
Yeah, that's it. That's the bottle the cyanide was in. But you ain't gonna find my prints on that bottle. Don't let that crazy looking suit fool you people. That lawyer's just playing games. Tell him, Mr. Prosecutor, tell that guy where to go. You still haven't figured it out? Don't you realize what you just said? What I said? What did I just say?
You were summoned to this court for the first time earlier today. If you really had nothing to do with the murder, you shouldn't have known all the little details. For instance, you shouldn't have known what kind of bottle the potassium cyanide was in. But just now, you slipped up in front of every single person in this courtroom. You described the exact bottle used by the killer to hold the poison.
You don't know who you're messing with. I'm the Tiger. I control millions of dollars on the black market. You think I'm gonna let some jumped up suit get the better of me?
Sure, the last piece of evidence was phony. But that's just what you deserve. The phony trial with a phony lawyer. It was all played out by you, the biggest phony of all. Und Stromausfall. Geil. Tatsächlich. What's going on? It looks like a blackout.
Well done, Wright.
Oh nee, haben wir die Tasse im Gesicht.
I saved my 17th cup of coffee, just for you. Savor it. While you watch the police restrain your prey. Mr. Wright, you caught a tiger by his toe, but if this one hollers, he won't be let go. Now then, how are things going with Mr. Tiger, Mr. Godot? He's being arrested on suspicion of the murder of Glenelg, Your Honor. Fortunately for us, we managed to rectify a very grave error. Miss Bird was found guilty in the absence of a genuine defense attorney.
Yes, she was.
And in the absence of genuine evidence. But the tiger made one mistake. Indeed. He very nearly got away with everything if it wasn't for that one slip of the tongue. Fury Tigre is truly a frightening criminal. Ha! Truly frightening one. Is that defense attorney over there? Godot.
Das war ein Kompliment.
Well, I am now in a position to deliver my verdict. This court finds the defendant, Maggie Bird, not guilty. Salutieren! Danke. That is all. This court is adjourned. Abmarsch!
Oh, 2 Stunden hat das Prozedere gedauert. Ja, kommt etwa hin, ne?
Mr. Wright, I'm at a loss for words. Thank you, sir. Congratulations, Maggie. I was so mad when Mr. Wright landed me in all that trouble a month ago. But now I feel like I can forgive him.
Hey, that wasn't me, Maggie. That was the tiger.
Look, Nick, in the doorway.
Ah, ich glaube, ich habe herausgefunden, warum wir die ganze Zeit noch die Würstchen in unserem Inventar haben. Bin mir sicher, das kommt jetzt gleich noch. Oh Gott. Detective Gumshoe.
Oh, guess I'll be heading off then. See you.
Wait.
Detective Gumshoe.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations, Maggie.
Thanks.
Ach, just kiss.
I knew you were innocent all along.
Why didn't you say that in your testimony then?
Huh? Oh, well, I was... Well, I guess I'll be heading off then. See you around.
Wait up, detective. He just ran off.
Maggie, why are you being so hard on him? He busted his butt for you. It's thanks to him that we got the medication bottle. That wasn't even of any use. But it's only because Mr. Wright used it so cleverly. Detective Gumshoe was just running around in circles.
Poor guy. Looks like she still isn't ready to forgive him.
Can you put in a good word for him, Nick?
Give her some wieners. Yeah, Maya's right. I should help Gumshoe out. It's clear he needs it. Maggie. You know, Detective Gumshoe's been really worried about you through all of this.
I wanted to believe that, sir. But on that first day of the trial, he practically gave the judge a free pass to lock me up.
He didn't have any choice, Maggie. He's a detective. He has to report the facts.
He doubted me, that's why. He thought I might have done it.
I've got to prove her that Gumshoe really cares about her. I know, I'll give her a little present to celebrate her freedom. Yes. Wie waren nochmal die Worte des Judges? Suck it down, girl. Yeah, you're all a present to celebrate your freedom. That's a present from Detective Gumshoe, made with a ton of love. And most importantly, weenies.
He said you lost weight and he was worried about you. Detective Gumshoe? I actually really like weenies, you know? Did you guys hear that? I'm pretty hungry myself, you know?
Yeah, the trial dragged on a bit today, didn't it?
Is it okay if I eat this now? So how is it, Maggie? It's really good.
Weenies. So the case of phony versus genuine comes to an end. The false allegations surrounding Maggie have all been cleared up. And who knows? Maybe a whole new chapter of her life is about to start. Wunderschönes Bild. Episode 3. Recipe for Turnabout. The End. Und damit geht auch diese Episode zu Ende. Ja. Wisst ihr, was das bedeutet? Das bedeutet, wenn ich mich recht entsinne, gibt es jetzt nur noch einen Fall. Der letzte Fall in dieser Trilogie. Und dann hat es sich mit Phoenix Wright. Ja, und wenn ich mich recht erinnere, war das auch, glaube ich, mein Lieblingsfall, also der beste Fall meiner Meinung nach in der ganzen Trilogie. Von daher bin ich schon mal sehr gespannt, wie viel ich verkacken werde, wie in diesem Fall. Wie viel ich mich erinnern werde und dann auch wieder falsch und alles durcheinander bringe und ja, und ein paar Mal draufgehe und ein paar Mal wieder laden darf. Naja. Aber ich hoffe, euch hat es trotzdem gefallen, diese Folge, dieser Fall. Und dann sehen wir uns beim nächsten Mal wieder. Beim letzten Kapitel in diesem Let's Play. Bleibt gespannt und bis dahin, macht's gut, Leute. Und tschö.